Alright, let's finish this. 0022. Minor Arcana Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. The pinnacle point, starting point of physical well-being, finance, money. I see this always as an offering of good health, an offering of money. People say, where's the money card? This one. Typically, we're seeing a giving or an acceptance or a receiving situation where things are coming to you and being laid down upon you as blessings, as gifts, as growth and enhancement. So sometimes it's the direct cash, sometimes it's the promotion, sometimes it's the property, but things just working really, really well in both a physical and financial sense. Two of Pentacles, fluctuation. Now, Pentacles is also logic, and so this is sometimes weighing the different approaches and different logics that are available to a situation, realizing that things are going through changes and shifts and dynamics. To a business person, this is, to a restaurateur, this is the period from January till just before Valentine's Day, and then from just after Valentine's Day through until Mother's Day. This is your, how do I make this work and how do I make this manage so I can maintain myself better in future points? Looking towards future energies and future elements and making sure that you're saving, stockpiling, and taking care of things. The fluctuation that we see in the Bible when they went through the 7 years of great grain and then 7 years of famine in Egypt. It's a similar energy to that, fluctuations and changes, and learning how to manage those changes in the right way and the right manner. Three of Pentacles, coming together for accomplished works and achievements, recognizing each person having their role and their place to fill in on a project, on a situation, on a position. This is usually finding good unity and good cohesiveness amongst a team. It can sometimes be a sign of working in larger groups and larger projects as well. And it typically is one of those cases where you've got the coordinator that has to function and work with 4 or 5 other people to make everything come out in the right way. It's observational elements come into this, making sure that you're looking at how each role and each piece is coming in to fit in the right position, in the right place for the overall project. Making sure that everyone is finding their place with the right energies and the right flows where possible. 4 of Pentacles can go one of 2 ways. Some people see it as the taking control of the situation and holding the cards really close to your chest and making sure that everything's on a good roll. Others can see it as the schmuck that's keeping the good money away from you because they're going to do what they can to look after themselves over top of you. Whether you see this as you doing the good or the bad, or whether you see it as someone working in opposition towards you, the point of the matter is the situation is under someone's hands. It's in their control, it's in their guise, and they're standing upon it as firmly as they can to make sure that everything that's on their mind is within this moment. It can be a little bit obsessive, it can be a little bit underhanded, it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, and it's usually an entrenched situation where, best example I can do from business, an employee goes on a medical leave, which turns into a short term, into a long term, into they're just on the payroll 3 years later and you're not sure how the fuck that happened. Or an insurance claim is going through and well, we had a brand new this and a brand new that and a brand new this and a brand new that. And you get a little bit extra off the insurance claim, and I'm sure they've had to make stopgaps to catch certain things like this, but sometimes something slips through. And this is the motherfucking thing that slips through. 5 of Pentacles. Now, there's 2 major things to look at here. 1, the state of being of the people down here, and 2, where they're at. This is a church. This is a place of gathering and receptivity and healing and holiness. And quite often people call this the come in from the cold and find community, find collective, find that security where possible. You've got an injury, it's going to the doctor. You've got a sin, it's going to the priest. You've got a ghost, it's going to the exorcist. It's finding that right energy to fit what you need to grow and heal yourself in the situation. But you have to pull yourself in from the cold. It's something that's available, but only if you actually go out and tap into it. You're in decline, and you have to do things in order to make this growth thing come back to you so that you continue to be prosperous and growing from this moment forward. It's not ignoring your situation, but acknowledging the circumstances and trying your best to make sure that you're adapting to them appropriately. 6 of Pentacles, generosity, giving nature, Notice the scales showing back up. This is about balance and fairness. This is very much, I don't need certain things, so I'm going to give them on to the next person. I'm not driving anymore, so I'm going to pass my car on to my kids. I don't need a house anymore, so I'm going to sell it and give it to the children. Grandchildren are coming up and they're going to need some clothes. Things like that, where we're taking care of people's situations at their level and at their needs. It's not just generosity as a grandiose gesture. It's this specific situation requires this specific thing, and I'm going to do what I can to make sure that that's taken care of. But notice that there is no audience to this. It's humility. It is just the people that are in need and the person that can provide need and making sure that situation comes. Doesn't matter where you are in this picture. It's still an exchange of situations, an exchange of energies that helps all people in the moment. They're gaining what they need physically, they're gaining what they need spiritually and emotionally. 7 of Pentacles. Observational situation. Looking at something and looking at the logic of how you're doing it. There's something going on here and they're doing it the wrong way, I guarantee you. And I don't know how many times, I guarantee there's others that can relate, but my dad coming out of the house to look at a project he told me to do and saying, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you using that tool? Or why are you doing that thing? And why are you doing that bit? It's giving sort of that connotation, that tone that you've been doing things left when they should have been going right. And you got to kind of take that step back and look at it from the bigger picture and be like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I was doing, and this is how I get it all together so it's on the right path and on the right course. Slow yourself down when this card comes up. Look at the situation from a bigger perspective. Are you using the right tools, and is the end goal of what you're trying to accomplish actually going to happen with what you're doing in front of you? 8 of Pentacles, meticulous nature, going through all the very fine details to make sure that everything is precisely where it needs to be. This is demanding attentiveness. This is demanding consistency. This is demanding a very fine and precisely articulated nature. This is laying the lines very clearly where possible. This is getting into the budget and restructuring things, getting into the diet, doing the exercise routine, and being very particular with the steps, because straying from that is not either going to have positive effect or it could be a damage to yourself doing so. You got to do it this way, and it's not that you're just willy-nillying it. It's that you have a system that's been laid out in front of you and you're meant to follow the system at this time. 9 of Pentacles, the socialite, very, very dainty, always going around to all the good parties. This is not so much a romantic socializing, although sometimes it could be pleasurable in its nature, but it's more in that connection of community, sometimes for business growth, sometimes just for the joy of the moment. And as long as you're finding the charisma of the situation, you're doing just fine. Now, these connections help us to learn more about ourselves in physical ways, financial ways, emotional ways, the whole bells and whistles, but you're absorbing and you're applying new things and experiences to yourself, and there is a certain amount of status that's supposed to come with this as well too. You're presenting yourself not just as you're presenting yourself not just as an entertainer, but as yourself. You are a personality or an identity or a socialite that has to maintain a certain representation, a certain form. Sometimes this comes up right before big boss meetings and things like that, where, oh yeah, the CEOs are flying in, we got to get everyone down to the coffee shop. Those kind of dynamics where how you present yourself is going to be critical to the moment. 10 of Pentacles, the grandiose stage of society. It's I'm pretty sure that they were going for Tree of Life with the placement of the Pentacles on there, and just finding your placement within the situation of reality. Because the grander spectrum with this one is, where do you fit in with the society and the people and the communities that you're part of? Where is your role, and how does it kind of wrap around you and give you that sense of completion and satisfaction? This is what we're missing a lot of in the world right now, because truly and honestly, the societies and cultures we've built are shit piss. So this is kind of getting us back, or this would be us getting back onto, this is what the best roles and the best structures and the best forms are for us each individually. This is where we can kind of contribute to the larger collective, and I can be the cobbler, I can be the winemaker, I can be the pig man, however I want it to kind of play myself out in the long run. Page of Pentacles is typically very eager and excited, but they don't understand the systems. Someone that's in a learning process, and typically usually more of a hands-on learner, this is your apprentice mechanic, or your person that's just in their first year and is just scrubbing their way through, trying their best to figure it out. You keep an eye on these ones. These are the ones that make, they're not aware, and if you assume that they're aware, you're going to screw them up. If you are in this role, ask lots of questions. Really important to ask questions. Knight of Pentacles is established and set up in such a way that they know their patterns, they know their formats, they know their state of being, and they're going to function the way that they want to. I love this horse. It's standing still. It's content exactly in its position and its role, and it's just waiting. And it doesn't have that look of bored waiting. It has that attentive waiting. It is ready for when the next moment comes up, and the man's just waiting for his calculations to come into flow for it to all be in the right way. Business people love this energy. Why? Because you're putting yourself out there and you're working the business plan the right way. Exercising and everything else is just getting that right segment of control over the moment, over putting yourself to it so that you're controlling the moment now. Where the page you were learning the system, the night you now have the system within your hand. And the evolution is that you're turning it into one of these. The Queen of Pentacles being more concerned with the meticulous nature of things, the structure of things, the pattern of things. The 7 and 8 of Pentacles relate really, really well to this one because you're looking at the finer nature of things. This is an excellent advisor, excellent counselor. It's not emotional advice, it's logical advice, and it's based on what works based on their experiences. This is excellent family planning and order and structure. If you're looking for a woman that's going to look after your house while you're off doing crazy things, she will probably be able to handle it. And when you come back, you're going to shut up and do what she says in her house because she's the one running it. There's an authority, but it's through the pattern laid down as best as possible. The other one, the King of Pentacles, this is your businessman that has opulence, wealth. He's almost vanished into the work that he is doing. He has become a symbol or an ideology of that work where possible. It's hard to think of good examples in this day and age because a lot of us, we'd have dads that were the coal miners or the farmers or whatever else, and this is a lot of that. You become the work that you do energy, but it's also being very skilled, very crafted, very well suited for the work that you're doing. So it's not that it's necessarily a bad thing or a loss, it's just more the complicated nature of this card is in that you've established yourself into this role and you've become this man of this nature and of this energy. That process is probably going to remain consistent throughout the rest of the bits, and it's not that you're going to be ill at ease or ill reception to other people, but you are the mountain that you are, immovable object that you are. And it's more in your footsteps that you will always be, and better for people just to accept you on that level as being in your own footsteps and not hoping in any way, shape, or form that they can adjust you and take you away from that. Because truly, you know who you want to be, and you're good with that.